The sacred is revealed in the ordinary. There is a beauty in this. But how do we discover the mystery of the sacred in our seemingly mundane existence? Welcome to Revealed, a podcast sponsored by Resurrection Catholic Parish in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Let's join our hosts, Katie McAllister and Tony Pickler, as they explore the lives of people, organizations, and resources that will help us delve into the sacredness of the ordinary.
Welcome to Revealed, where we are breaking open the sacred in our ordinary lives. I'm Katie.
And I'm Tony.
And I have to say, happy anniversary! Not the anniversary of our podcast, but the anniversary of Resurrection Parish.
But it is the anniversary of our podcast. We've been on 1 year.
Oh, well, then let's a double dipper. We're perfect. It's perfect. Because 60 years ago, Resurrection was formed. And we are so excited to be celebrating our 60th anniversary. And in celebration, we have a very special guest. Tony, introduce our guest, please.
Well, one of the members of this parish who is a charter member goes back all 60 years.
What's a charter member?
A charter member is a person who started this parish, who was here at the very beginning. There are several dozen charter members at Resurrection, and we chose Marge Zdziarski to be interviewed for this podcast. I've met Marge a few times now since being at Resurrection, and she is just a delightful person who tells some really great stories. We have this common bond when it comes to golf. We both love to golf, and so just thought Marge would be a great person to tell us some stories about what it was like to be around here 60 years ago. So welcome to the show, Marge.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Marge, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
I'm getting a little older now. I'm quite not active, but I had a wonderful mother, and she taught me to help people. And my life has consisted of not only having children, but volunteering. And I can't tell you how much I have volunteered in my life. Just put a jewelry sale together and made $6,000 for the Women's Club just with selling old jewelry. I should do it here sometime because $6,000. And so outside of volunteering and raising my children to be good Christians, and they have been, we've got all 7 of them through college. And I always said in my obit, it's been a house of love and laughter. I can honestly say that in my obit it's been a house and laughter. And you probably know. Laugh.
So in my getting ready for our 60th anniversary, I saw a lot of pictures of the old neighborhood 60 years ago. And it's changed a lot. So what was the neighborhood like 60 years ago?
No trees.
No trees.
No trees. In fact, when I came in right now, I looked up at the trees here. And would you believe my father planted them?
Oh,
my father planted all of, he and Father Spalding were friends. My father had a little nursery business. We always say he raked all the way level. And so I just had to say a little prayer to him in heaven when I saw those trees and thought of Father Spalding and thought of my dad. So that's why I was just a little late getting at the door.
Oh, that's okay. That's beautiful. And Father Spalding was our first pastor here,
That's
correct?
The first pastor.
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of 60 years ago, how about some early memories of what was it like to found this parish, to be a charter member, to be one of the first people who belonged here?
Oh, it was awesome. It was really awesome meeting all the new members, meeting them when the building was going up. We'd get at the construction line and say, "Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Who are you?" And it was my first meeting of most of the members, the charter members of Resurrection.
And you spent some time not here because the place was being built, right? You spent it over at the chapel at,
we were
at the diocese.
Chapel
yeah.
for a while.
So what was that like, having a community that was being formed, but you're not being formed here at this church? It's at a different church. What was that like?
It was another awesome thing. It was another awesome thing because people were coming from St. Matthew's and people were coming just to be at the chapel. And it was just really an awesome thing. And we talked about, one of the things that we talked about at the chapel was the Blessed Virgin. She was kind of just a little patron of that little chapel, and it was such a warm feeling over there. So it was a little bit of adjustment to come over here, to tell you the truth, you know, but it was awesome.
I understand that your daughter was one of the first people, or the first person to be baptized. Can you tell about that?
That's what Father Spalding told us. He had the list of people that were going to be baptized shortly. And so we waited and waited for the church to be built up. And of course, they were a little late. So he was baptized at the chapel, which was very, very nice. But I believe Father Spalding, she's the first on the record to be baptized at Resurrection Church. That was my daughter, Nancy.
Nancy.
Okay. What a great honor to be the first.
Especially with Father Spalding. He's such a great man.
What was Father Spalding like? What kind of guy was he?
Sakes. He was one of the most relaxed gentlemen, well, I should say priest, that I have ever met in my life. I have never met in my life, and he was just so cordial, and he would tell me his hunting stories and whatnot. He was a good hunter, as you know, and a good fisherman. Yeah, and that's how my dad got to know him.
I've heard the story that there's kind of a discrepancy on when the actual founding date of Resurrection was because of his hunting. He wanted, it was supposed to be September 13th, but then the dedication got pushed back because he was hunting. Like, he loved his hunting, I guess.
He certainly did. He certainly did.
So throughout the past 60 years, is there a memory that has been really important to your heart?
Oh, yes, definitely, 100%. And it made me a much, much better person. I can tell you that right now. I think it's Father Spalding and Father John started a discussion club. And we met every other week at houses. At the house, you know, and there were 8 of us. And when Father came in, he gave us not a script, just a question. And we had to talk about that all night long for the 2.5 hours. It was awesome. It just made every single one of us a better person. And that discussion club lasted for probably 5 years. So we were very, very, very close to those people. And I shake my head every now and then when I go back to that discussion club and see no food, just a couple of peanuts, you know, there, and discussing everything imaginable. But the scary part was we didn't know we were the hostess, whoever was the hostess, had to go through the program and narrate it, you know. Wow, did we come up with some answers. But I look at that discussion club and how it has helped me over the years, just tremendously.
That's beautiful. That whole.
And then one night we showed up, and here was somebody from St. Matthew's, and the lady said, "I heard you have a wonderful discussion club. Could I join you?" So she joined us and had some peanuts with us.
That's awesome.
Oh, I love that idea because, I mean, that's what we're pushing now is the small group and just really building that community. That's beautiful. And even, you know, back then, you guys were doing it. You were on the forefront. You knew what you were doing.
Yeah, but interesting, you know, and some of those things you just questioned yourself. And are they true or aren't they true? But they made every one of us a better person. So I have to thank Resurrection. It is one of the things, you know, that I think of often.
You've told stories about being called on the carpet by Father Spalding. Can you share a couple of those memories?
Oh, yes. Do I really want to? One day, the phone rang, and it was the receptionist in here. And she said, Father Spaulding wants to see you. And, oh, my goodness, what kid got in trouble? What kid got in trouble? And he said, I've tasted some of your meals, and I understand you like to cook. And I said, well, I love it. I have this big family, and my parents were invalids, and I cooked for them. I set the kids at the table, this great big round table, the 7 kids and my husband, and then we eat, and I take the dinner over to my parents' house. So yes, I do like to cook. Well, Father said, okay, I want you to do something. And I'm going, what? And he said, it's not with the kids. He said, I think we need a hot lunch program here. So we sat down a quarter of the evening that time, not a long time. And he said, okay, I have some names here, and I think we need to get a cook. And I'm going to have you go home and call these people to see what kind of cook we can get. We got a cook by the name of Doris Thompson. And between Father Spaulding and myself, we started the hot lunch program.
Well, and that has kept on into a beautiful history, because when I taught in the school, that's when I gained my weight, was when it was the hot lunch, which was amazing. And I just...
Yeah, she did a good job.
Oh, yes.
She did an excellent job. So we were very proud of that. We were very proud that the kids didn't have to go hungry all the time, and they had a good meal. And she would sit down with Father Spaulding and call me every once in a while and say, what do you think we should serve? So, and then...
Yes.
And then a couple of years later, I get the same call. Of course, the office person called me. I can't remember who it was, and yes, it was. Can't remember. Father Spaulding wants to see you. I'm going, oh, this time I'm sure it's one of the kids. So again, I go over there, and he starts talking, and he didn't want to tell me what he wanted. I finally got out of him. He said, the parish is getting a few years older now, not old, of course, but he said, and we're losing a lot of parishioners. And I said, yes, I know. I've just gone to 2 services lately. And where did you eat after? And he said, we need to have funeral dinners over here. So between myself and my children, did the funeral dinners for a long time. I would go out and get food. I called and got it catered. I'd go out and get the food. Kids would be setting the table. And always wondered if I have enough. Oh, do we have enough? Do we have enough? We made sure we ordered enough, and then we'd put it over to the hot lunch program, or give it to Father Spaulding and Father John, so they'd have a week of groceries. But it turned out very, very nicely. And the Press Gazette came over, and I do have that picture of the Press Gazette of the kids coming over and rolling up the ham, cutting the eggs on half to make deviled eggs and things like that. But it was kind of nice in the pictures in the paper showing how successful, this program was.
I love that you brought in the kids. That's so cool. That's so cool.
So going forward, the parish is 60 years old, but hopefully there's going to be another 60 years.
And plus.
and beyond. What are your hopes and dreams for the parish as it goes forward?
Oh, my goodness sakes. The dreams for the parish, I believe, would have the social events that they do now. Being social is one of the greatest things that causes longevity in life. I think we all know that, don't we? I have a sister right now that's in a nursing home, and she is refusing to associate with the people in the nursing home. And as I get to see her all the time, she's right down the street, I can see the deterioration of not associating, not being social. And I believe if I had to say something, is that the social events at Resurrection are probably the greatest that I have ever seen in my life. The greatest. I'm sorry I can't get to a lot of them now. I just can't get to them for a little while, now. But the social events, oh my goodness, there isn't a week or a month that you don't go out with, and the smiles on the faces. They should name this Resurrection Smiles or something like that, because it is a smiling parish. It's one of the most smiling parishes I ever saw.
So, Marge, the title of our podcast is Revealed, and the kind of the theme of the podcast always is, how do we see the sacred, the holy? Do we see God revealed in the ordinariness of our lives? That's kind of what we do with this podcast. So I'm curious how you would respond to, when you look at the life of Resurrection over these 60 years, how have you seen God revealed in this community?
You just have to open that front door. You just have to open that front door. When I was able to, I would just come in and just smile and count the stained glass, and the stained glass meant this to me and this to me, and it was all God. And I think so many people just come in here and just meditate, and the meditation is what is good, and that is tremendous. And Father Spaulding and Father DeMuth believed in meditation. It is so healing. Well, this shows that God is in our presence, that you people at Resurrection, and I'm talking every single one of you, have just kept God in our presence. And we hold on to him very, very tightly because of you people. You've done it for us. A lot of people that have had problems, and you sit down and you show them what God is all about. You show them how God can help you. Mm-hmm. I know it's helped me through many crosses in my life. Mm-hmm. And, I can't kneel at the bed anymore, but when I get in, those prayers are being said, and who really taught me all about that is Resurrection.
Marge, thank you so much for agreeing to come on and for sharing your stories and your insights about Resurrection as we celebrate 60 years. We can't thank you enough for how much you have been a part of bringing Resurrection to where we are today. So we thank you very, very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marge.
This has been Revealed, a podcast sponsored by Resurrection Catholic Parish in Green Bay, Wisconsin.